So to start off, you can see my screen.
We can. That's good.
All right. So as we know, a key area of focus for every finance department is accounts receivable. That is, what cash flow are we expecting this upcoming pay period based on products we've sold or invoices we have out there outstanding. So a CFO or account is likely to start his workday looking at a dashboard kind of like this, where they can see, for example, that there's about 98.6 million in open balance from about 15,000 customers. And then he can see the breakdown by different dimensions. For example, by agent bucket, and by region, which is in the top right, by the customer down below, and then also by different product types. So as you can see, he's getting a view into the current finances of the business. However, there's a good chance that some of these customers, of those 15,000 customers, for multitudes of reasons, will be late on their payment for the upcoming pay period. But that information is missing here. And this is critical because the organization needs to know what fraction of their expected cash flow that they might have made plans for is at risk. And secondly, can anything be done to reduce this risk? So now let's imagine a world with more advanced analytics applied. In this world, the respective accountant is going to start his day receiving an email specific to him. This accountant here, his name is Nicholas Ebbs. We're going to call him Nick. Nicholas receives an email specific to him. In this email, which is generated automatically, this is an email every accountant in the finance team receives. They get a list of customers they need to attend to based on certain criteria thresholds are set. For example, first, he knows based on how much of the expected payment amount is at risk, about 1.5 million of that is at risk. It's receiving that information on that. And also the list of customers we're saying are likely going to be late. For example, Nick can see two customers below, Schmidt 7 and Herth Watzeka, have been identified as customers he should really target. That's because these two customers have a high outstanding balance and also a very high probability of being late. Also note that in the information that's sent about these two customers, we're also providing additional details, for example, on their credit status. Let's take note of these two customers' names, Schmidt 7 and Herth Watzeka, as that's going to show up later in the demo. So finally, we can see at the bottom, there's a URL link that will take Nick to his respective dashboard, where he's going to see these two customers, how they're performing, as well as other customers that we're predicting will be late beyond these two. And that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to click on this link where I'll be taken to the relevant dashboard with the insights and selections filtered for just me. So as this opens up in this new link, I'll give you a brief preview or explanation of what you're seeing. So we saw in the email there were two customers that we targeted as most critical. However, there are about 38 of the 68 customers we think will be late overall. We just noted that two of those are critical customers to target. So of the 38 customers, you can also see the amount that was reflected in the email, again, is shown here. About 1.48 million we're predicting will be late for this upcoming payment period, which is this upcoming month of December. And also we can see the left, the bar chart that shows by year and month, the percent of expected cash flow that came in late for the months before. For example, if we look at the month of November, that's the current month, we see that about 47% of what was expected for the cash flow was late. And this was really bad. And what we're showing now is we're predicting in orange the coming month of December. And we can see Nick is also going to be a bit relieved because only about 25% of the total expected amount from his customers we're predicting will be late, compared to 47% the month before. The scatter plot at right is also very interesting because here we can see the customers we're predicting will be late. On the x-axis, we can see the probability of late payment from 0 to 100%, where 100% means is a customer we're predicting using our integrated predictive and explainability capabilities, what customers are going to be late. And also on the y-axis, how much we are predicting that customer will be late by. So of course, what's very interesting in this scatter plot is what's in the top right quadrants. And as you can see, these values are derived using our integrated predictive analytics capabilities. So you don't have to go to another platform to ingest or get these insights into what's going to happen in the future. Now, if you look into the top right, you might see this customer again show up, Schmidt 7. If you remember, this was the same customer that appeared in the email he received, where there was a credit status put as on hold. So I'm going to select this customer to understand a bit further what's going on. Once I've made that selection, after selecting Smith 7, we would like to know, okay, we have predicted that about 114,000 is at risk of being late. Are we able to determine what could be the reasons for them being late, not just the amount they're going to be late by? And if possible, can we do anything to address that? Like I mentioned earlier, this ability again to predict what will occur in the future and why is only possible due to Qlik's predictive and explainability capability that's built into our product. And if I go into the next screen, you're going to see a brief screenshot of this capability in action. It's called Qlik AutoML. And when I go to the next sheet, you'll see how the insights I'm getting from Qlik AutoML helps me understand not just what's going to happen, but why it's happening. If I go into the next sheet, now let's take a view here to understand what is causing AR payments for all these different customers. Here you can see that the top drivers for late payment for Schmidt 7 are these three to the right. Number of paid invoices, the payment method, and the sub-region Schmidt resides in. The green color coding here tells me that this activity helps a customer pay on time, and the activities or attributes in red are reasons that drive this customer to be late. So as you can see, the payment method and number of paid invoices, we're saying these are reasons we think Schmidt 7 is likely going to be late for what those could mean for them. So now we can do a few things based on what we've seen, because beyond just getting insights, what's critical to the accountant is taking action. And we're going to do this in Qlik using a few of our capabilities. First, I can choose to send a note to the respective rep in Teams, or choose to update our NetSuite, which is our billings and collections application, or also update our Salesforce record, which is in the right here. For this customer today, I'll show you a message I'm going to send to a rep in Teams using our integrated automation platform. So I click on this, and this is going to send a note, and I'm going to bring up this note that's coming up in my Microsoft Teams that's going to be specific to that rep, letting the rep know exactly what to work on. So once you can see this, and I'll read this below. So this is the note for the customer. I realize you're working with Schmidt 7 on an ongoing opportunity. However, they've been flagged as likely to be late on their upcoming payment. Here are the reasons we believe driving them to be late on payments: number of paid invoices, payment method, and sub-region. See how cool that is? That now we have this integrated experience where we take action without having to leave the Qlik platform and notify relevant actors down the line. So going ahead, if you remember, we started our demonstration by showing you the current state of dashboard for most finance teams. Now, what I would like to show you is the future state of what your dashboard can look like if you're using Qlik's advanced analytics capabilities. And that's what I'm going to do by going to a dashboard that shows not just what's going on, but what could also happen in the future. So once I start on this dashboard, let me explain what you're seeing here. And so in this updated dashboard, we can still see the current open AR balance for this particular accountant, Nick. We can also see the amount overdue. So this is outstanding invoices that are past their due date. But now we can also see what's going to happen in the future, which is this predicted late payment. Again, matching the 1.5 million Nick saw in his email. And lastly, we still have collections, which is super important to every finance team, right? Being able to track how long on average does it take for people to pay back the amount owed to us. So our platform helps finance teams focus on higher value activities that drive business and cash flow. And we do this in a multitude of ways. First, we give you transparency into how much of the expected cash flow is at risk. You saw that with the emails Nick received specific to him with the relevant information for the customers to target. Secondly, we're also able to forecast which customers are likely going to be late for payments. That's our predictability and explainability embedded into our platform. And then also understand the reasons why these customers could be late. And then lastly, create strategies to help them pay on time. That's what you saw with the notes to teams, also updating Salesforce or NetSuite collections platform. In summary, we want to give more time to the accountant receivables team to take action on risky payments. And we've shown we can do that here with Qlik Sense. And that is all.